Mm. All right. So, hello everyone. My name is Abigail Ricardo. I'm a licensed massage therapist in the state of Indiana. Um, and welcome back to Wellness Without Shame. And today we have a very special guest with us. With all of the conversations we've had about mental health and mental health advocacy, and all of those great things. Today we have Ellen. She is an attorney and she is also a advocate for mental health and all that comes with it. She's going to tell us her story about her journey and tell us a little bit about how she's been able to overcome some of the challenges that come with it. So, without further ado, um, please remember everyone that this is a safe space. We are all just living life and trying to make the best of it. So keep any comments kind and constructive, and let's build each other up and not tear each other down. So, Ellen, take it
Thanks so
away.
much. So, I am currently in benzodiazepine withdrawal, and I'm also in protracted withdrawal from antipsychotics. I survived 20 years. I was physically disabled for 20 years by something called tardive dyskinesia, which is a side effect of antipsychotics. I have a mission and a purpose to spread awareness of the detrimental effects of psychiatric medications so that others do not suffer as I have. I've been over medicated and I believe in therapy and, sun and taking a break, things that I was not given as a child. Um, I believe in mental health. I don't believe in mental illness. I believe in, choosing yourself first. I don't want to be labeled or diagnosed, have a diagnostic code put on you. I think these are things that are very important to talk about openly. I post public on 6 platforms, and there's nobody in my community who will even admit that they're in psychiatric medication withdrawal. This is not something that you should live in shame about. It's something that you should talk publicly about and openly about because withdrawal is almost 100% possible, preventable with informed consent. And I freely admit that as an attorney, I had no idea that the warning is 2 to 4 weeks or physical dependency may result when you take benzodiazepines. Um, and this is something people need to be aware about, need to ask questions of their doctors before they become physically dependent. Um, I firmly believe I'm autistic, and I had autistic meltdown at age 20, and I was mislabeled as bipolar 1. This is something that's apparently very common, that people are misdiagnosed as bipolar when they are autistic. Um, But no, this was something that did not have to happen. Unlike cancer, which, is something that is physical, I didn't have, you do not have to be put on psychiatric medications. You have if somebody is informed, no, that's fine with me. I have no problems with that, but you should know the risks before physical dependency sets in. Um, as a child, I went to self-harm at 11 because I was given no resources. I firmly believe that psychiatric hospitals are not a good solution for mental health, um, health issues. They are non-therapeutic. Um, these are things that I aim to spread awareness about, so that others do not fall into the traps that I did. Um, when I was on antipsychotics, I couldn't feel things. I wasn't the person I wanted to be. My IQ literally diminished from a 153 to a 127. Um, I could barely walk up and down the stairs when my child was little. Um, I can do things at 48 that almost nobody can do. I had a miracle recovery. Like I found, 2 other people on the planet that have recovered from 20 years of disabling tardive dyskinesia. And there are 600,000 to 800,000 people suffering in the United States and millions worldwide. So I'm having a medical case study to see how I recovered from disabling tardive dyskinesia, um, because others have struggled so much. And I know that the bad things in withdrawal are highly unlikely to happen to me because I have resources. Um, but almost nothing is covered in psychiatric medication withdrawal. And I'm going to create a charity because people on other platforms and around the world are suffering in ways that I know I will not because I have resources. Um, if many doctors cut people cold turkey off medications, which means that they stop taking their medications very abruptly, so that they can go to seizures, they can have seizures. Because many doctors are not aware of the risks of psychiatric medications and do not provide informed consent. Um, I see many people with akathisia, which is inner restlessness, um, on other platforms, and that's something I am fairly certain I will not have. You have to listen to your body, and you have to question. You have to question what doctors are telling you and ask questions. And I did not ask questions, and now I ask questions more, um, because I do not trust mainstream psychiatry where they give you 15-minute appointments in order to diagnose you and medicate you is not something that I believe in. Um, no, pills are not the solution to problems. You have to look at yourself, talk things through. Medication was never the answer. Diet has been exceptionally important to me as well. Um, cutting out, well, firstly, eating is very important. Taking care of yourself. Um, for a while, I was told to go into ketosis, and that was very detrimental to me because I went down to exhaustion. Um, I think diet is something that's very important to look into before you start looking at taking psychiatric medications. Um, the diagnostic, and I do not like to be labeled. The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, classifies people. I don't want to be viewed as a psychiatric case. I'm a person. You are a person. Everybody is a person, and you should be respected for as a person. There's a lot of discrimination that goes on against people with mental health issues, and that is not fair. Um, just because you might have anxiety or depression, there should not be discrimination against you. Um, People should be able to say, no, I don't I feel anxious, and not have people say, oh, you can't say that. Most people hide. And I was told I had to hide. I was told that I could not speak my truth when I was physically disabled. I was told I would lose my job if I told people that I was on antipsychotics. And hiding in corners when you're struggling is not a good thing for you. Um, you know, I I am very lucky that, I have doctors who trust me. I'm not an addict. I have never smoked a cigarette. I've never been drunk. I've never been done illegal with drugs, but I am in benzodiazepine withdrawal. And I knew nothing flat as an attorney, and my bar has never been in jeopardy. Um, but this is something that I do not want other people to go through. Um, my biggest issue right now is sleep. And, at times I was going on 0 to 1 to 2 hours of sleep. I'm finally sleeping more, but sleep is the worst part of withdrawal for me. Um, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Um, the way that I firmly believe that big pharma is behind the way that things function in our medical system for psychiatry. You know, Pills are an easy solution. They are very, very cheap. Um, and things are cheap. So that's what our society does, is over medicate, because that is the cheap way to do things. And there are so many, many better ways. I actually have a psychiatric advance directive that says that if I become suicidal, which will never happen, um, or if I do not want to be committed to a psychiatric hospital for any reason. I don't think it would be respected. Um, if I was psychotic and a danger to others, that would be different, and that will never happen. But I do not believe in psychiatric hospitals as being therapeutic. Um, I mean, these are my firm beliefs about how people should be treated. Should be treated as a human and not a as a psych case. Um,
Absolutely. So,
mhm,
you were misdiagnosed.
yes,
And how long do you think it took you to kind of say like, okay, this is not what is happening to me.
it took me a long time. I asked for years to get off of antipsychotics. I was told that no, I had to take them, that we just don't take people off after this many years. Um, I was told, you will go manic. Um, you will lose it. I had to bring my ex-husband into an appointment to support my no, to say that no, I could get off. Um, my mainstream psychiatrist, took me off antipsychotics way too quickly because many mainstream psychiatrists do not know the right way to taper somebody slowly off of medications. So I became a complete insomniac on the last night of my bad taper off of antipsychotics. And then, the solution was more medications. And I was put on benzodiazepines without informed consent. I knew nothing flat. And I am suffering, you know, long term because of it. Um, and, I had no idea. I had no idea. I I was misdiagnosed at 20, and at 45 I finally got off of antipsychotics. I was on antipsychotics for 25 years.
Wow.
Uh, yeah. And, I know that the bad things that everybody said would happen did not happen. Um, but these are
Because you
things
did
that
it
could have been
smartly,
prevented.
right? And
Well,
correct.
my mainstream psychiatrist took me off too quickly.
Ah,
She
right.
she took me off in 6 months. It should have taken years, probably.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So I suffered unnecessarily because of the way that she practiced.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of giving me other resources when I became an insomniac, she prescribed benzodiazepines. She
Mm.
prescribed high dose benzodiazepines and said no issues, no problems with
Mm-hmm.
benzodiazepines. I asked if they were caused physical dependency, and she said no. Um, so this is something I have reported that doctor because you should speak up when
Mm-hmm.
psychiatrists are not giving you informed consent. People do
Absolutely.
have the right to report psychiatrists. And many people think that this is not something that they can do.
And to your point, diet is very important. It's
Very.
very important to eat whole foods. And now
Yeah.
in today's society, unfortunately, we have a lot of ultra processed foods and things like that. And those, as a holistic healer,
Yes.
I I know for a fact like they can detrimentally affect your health in such a negative way and
Completely. I
even
mean,
bring on
yeah.
mania.
Yeah, no, I mean, diet can definitely be a root cause of psychiatric issues. I believe in root causes and predispositions. I mean, if somebody has a contentious divorce, you know, um, it doesn't mean that they're crazy. It means that, they need therapy or something.
They're struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, changing your diet can be incredibly important. I'm now eating protein and carbohydrates and a little bit of sugar. And that's making me feel so much better
Hmm.
um, to be eating healthy foods,
Yeah.
eating vegetables and fruits. I try for all organic. That doesn't always work.
Hmm.
Perfectionism is not something that's obtainable.
No.
Um, And, one can never be perfect. I think that that's something that everybody has to forgive themselves for it being imperfect.
Absolutely. And also another thing is, all of the side effects that can
Mhm,
come from the psychiatric meds.
mhm.
I, for example, have shared my story here, and I have one of my medications. It made me gain weight very rapidly, and I'm a very
Yes.
naturally petite, thin person,
Hmm.
and
It's disturbing.
it
Yeah.
is so disturbing to crave refined carbs and things like that when I'm like, I tell my husband, oh my God, I don't recognize myself because that's not me.
Right. I
Um,
try to not to think too much about body image and to think more about being healthy than,
exactly.
looking good. But no, definitely many of these medications cause significant weight gain. And I mean that's avoidable. I mean self image is very self feeling good about yourself is very, very important.
Exactly. And that's the biggest, thing for me is my job is very physical. And
Hmm.
if you don't feel good while you're doing your job, or if you get tired easily, it's like it makes you feel bad about yourself.
Definitely, it
And
does.
so, but fortunately, I am now tapering off that medication, and
I
I'm
hope you're doing it
fortunate.
slowly with doctor
Yes,
supervision. Good,
yes. And she
good,
is she is great.
good.
Just like there are bad psychiatrists, there are good psychiatrists.
There are good psychiatrists too, yes, but you have to be very discerning and ask questions.
Yeah,
And I'm
absolutely.
glad you're asking questions.
Yeah, and she has been very careful about tapering me off, and I think Ellen and I are trying to tell everyone, all
Yeah,
of you, that, that you need to not only ask questions, but do your own research. Um,
definitely. I mean, you're
because,
not a failure
yeah,
if you did not do your research, and I did not do my research, and now I do my research more.
exactly.
Um, but yeah, no, definitely ask questions. And if you do want to come off, you have to do it very, very carefully. It is a
Hmm.
very hard thing to do, and many people are not up to it because it does take years to get off
Yeah,
and a lot of effort to get off.
it does. But I also want to say, like, to everyone listening, we're not saying it's bad to take medications.
No, not at
It's
all. It's your choice.
It is your choice. It is your like case by case basis. We're simply giving you our perspectives and educating on um our personal stories and specifically Ellen today. So we're, just wanting to make a difference by informing people of the
Yes, informing
consequences.
people of how much suffering you may go through if you start taking these medications without knowing the risks.
Exactly. Yeah. So, you were talking about you're going to start a charity or a foundation?
Yes, I am starting, it's in the works. I'm an attorney, so I
Hmm.
will run it and there will be a board. Um, no, it will provide subsidized life coaches for withdrawal because life coaches are generally not covered.
Hmm.
They cost perhaps $150 an hour.
Yeah.
Um, and if people paid, $50 an hour,
Hmm.
I think it's good to have people contribute something and
Yeah.
not to just get free services. No sliding scale as to what you can afford, but generally there are almost no resources for people. Um, and many people have to lie to their doctors to get off psychiatric medications. And I
Yeah.
find that really discomforting
Hmm.
because many doctors will say you need to be medicated and I will not let you taper off of your medications.
Hmm. Yeah. And that is hard. And I'm glad you're starting that. That's a really unique idea.
Yeah, I mean, there are other charities that provide some resources. I mean, and this is in the works. Charities take
Hmm.
a long time to set up.
Yeah.
Um, But there are other charities that deal more specifically with benzodiazepines only and not with other psychiatric medications.
Mm,
For me, getting a good taper off of antipsychotics is almost impossible
hmm.
today because people will not let you off of antipsychotics. That today, a benzodiazepine taper or even, an antidepressant taper are something that is more widely available. Getting a
Hmm.
good antipsychotic taper is almost impossible these days.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. And so I like you look so much, you know, I know you guys can't see her, but she looks great. She looks healthy. Um and
Sunshine.
you're doing the work, and
Exactly.
that's what's important, is doing the work.
Working on yourself. I mean, you have to work hard to get off psychiatric medications. It's not something that happens in an instant. I have wanted to go faster at times, and I've realized I have to listen to my body, and this is a process that takes a long time. I am likely 2 more years out on my taper. I went into antipsychotic withdrawal on November 13th of 2022, and I was placed on benzodiazepines in December of 2022, and I am looking at another 2 years probably. I mean, it's day by day.
Yeah, for sure. And they do take a while. I mean,
Yeah.
you want to run sometimes, believe me.
Yeah. No, I mean, at
But
first, I thought I could get off by the end of September, but my body would not do it. And you have to listen to your body. Some people can get off faster, but I have
yeah.
been on psychiatric medications for 28 years straight.
Yeah, no,
I know I have to
that's
go more slowly.
for sure. Yeah. And it's important to recognize that, and to understand that like some people will have a shorter taper, some people will have a longer one, and that's just depending on how long you've been on medications.
Exactly. No, it depends upon how long you are and your individual body. I mean, there's some people for whom they can go quickly. I mean, the truth about detox, I mean, I would do almost anything to avoid detox. They
Hmm.
take you off of psychiatric medications or benzodiazepines within 2 to 4 weeks, and it causes, you can suffer for a long time as a result. Um, and taking you off that quickly is extraordinarily detrimental. Detox is not a good option for benzodiazepines. For other issues, it may be, but for benzodiazepines, it is not.
No, it's really not.
No.
I had one experience with withdrawal from an unfortunate insurance and pharmacy mistake. And it was a weekend, and the part we live in, um, the pharmacy was closed.
Yeah.
Um, and I went into full blown withdrawal. It was two of
Oh
the worst
no.
days. It was two of the worst days of my life. Um, until I could get the medication. So, because
Yeah.
I just refused to go to the hospital. I was like,
Yeah. I mean,
no,
hospitals often do not treat people in withdrawal very well,
no.
unfortunately.
Yeah. So I suffered through it. My husband is great and, was with me, but
I'm
um
glad you're okay.
yeah, it was really bad. And I said, never again, never again. And it's kind of what made me decide, like, I've got to get off, and I've got to get off now and,
Yeah,
make it happen, because I don't want to risk that, I have a 3-year-old, and
exactly. You have to be there for your child.
yeah, and I don't want to risk her seeing me in that state. Like,
Mhm.
it's not a fun state to be in, as I'm sure you know.
Oh, no, but I have firm boundaries that my child will not be medicated.
Yes.
I mean, I want to give her therapy and breath work and anything except psychiatric medications.
Yeah. Everything, all of there's so many other good things. I
Right.
mean,
Sunlight,
mhm,
relaxation, um, therapy.
yes, absolutely. And I think it's really important that you shared this about your life and about how you're tapering off because I know there's a lot of misinformation out there, unfortunately.
There is a lot of misinformation and people just don't know. And many doctors have no idea. I mean, I go to my orthodontist and he has never even heard of benzodiazepine withdrawal. Um, there are so many therapists who have never heard of it. And it's something that we want people need to be aware of.
Absolutely. And how would you say you're feeling nowadays overall?
No, I'm feeling much better because we slowed down my taper.
Mhm.
I listened to the wrong doctors. And I freely admit that I didn't know whom to listen to. And also, went all ketogenic, and that was not good for me. I need to have carbohydrates in my diet and a little bit of sugar. Um, no, and plenty of fluids. I need to have plenty of fluids. Uh, take care of yourself first and be outside in the sunlight. I am looking forward to the summer because the warm weather is fantastic. Um, to being able to do things, outside is wonderful. Feeling the breeze and taking a break instead of pushing hard. There's so many attorneys I know who work 80-hour work weeks and then realize, at the end of their career, they never took a break. They never enjoyed life. I think enjoying your life is very, very important.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that's awesome. Uh, Congratulations. I think
Thank you so much.
it's really neat. It really is. It's nice. It's nice to hear, like that someone is actually doing something for themselves when it comes to this because it's like you said, there's a lot of discrimination as well.
Yes, there is.
Um and yeah, there's a lot of people that are like, well, you're bipolar, so you must be crazy. Like
Exactly,
it's
exactly.
like
No,
it's
you're
like
a person. You're a person. You're
it's like
not a
no.
label.
Yeah, it's like no, I'm not crazy. I'm a human being here.
Right, exactly. No, I mean, if you're on psychiatric medications, you're not crazy either. You're a person, and you should be treated like a person no matter what.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, Ellen, I am super glad I got to have you on. Your story is really inspiring, and I hope people, um, I hope a lot of people get to hear this because
Thank you
I
so
think it's
much.
very important. And
Do you want me to share that my website or anything like that?
yeah, go for it.
Sure. My website is ellenlubensky.com. So ELLENLUBENSKY.com. I post public on 6 platforms on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Feel free to follow me. I post under my name. I currently do lives on TikTok and LinkedIn. I'm happy to connect if you DM me or you message me through my website. Please reach out. I can't give
Yeah.
medical advice, but I'd be happy to connect.
Yeah, we're not doctors.
No,
Please talk to your doctor before you do
exactly,
anything.
exactly,
Um, we're just giving you some more resources and some more options. And you know, nothing nothing medical here.
yeah, no, no, I cannot give medical advice. No, I would suggest that you go to your doctor and you talk things through carefully. And if a doctor is not listening to you, you find another doctor.
Exactly. It's
Mhm.
like therapy. If you don't click with one therapist, you go find another one that you click with, and that's
Exactly.
okay.
Right. And therapists will not be offended. They know,
No,
you can look for many therapists.
yeah, not every therapist is for every patient or every client. So,
Exactly.
yeah. So, all right, everyone, please follow Ellen and follow me on our social medias and please stay safe, stay healthy. Think about yourself first. Remember that you
Exactly.
are a person and that you matter and that, you are unique you.
Exactly. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. All right, bye everyone. I'm Abby Ricardo,
Bye.
and this was bye.
Bye.
See ya.